from the left side of the party is that, Donald Trump is coming for your Social Security, that they're going to take it away, that, no one's going to get their money anymore. And this is money that you've paid into the census system and that you're entitled to. It's a lot of fear mongering, that it's not factual and it's not accurate. And I'm so glad that we've heard from the Doge team and directly from Elon Musk about really what they are doing. It kind of goes back to my concerns about the PR and the messaging around all of this. And this really hit home for me personally.
What? Elon Musk just shocked millions of Americans on live TV, guys. In a jaw-dropping moment caught on camera, Elon Musk, he stood right next to the Department of Government Efficiency, Doge, and said something that no one saw coming. If you're on Social Security, if you're collecting SSI, even SSDI, you could be getting more money, and soon. Not next year, not someday. This could change everything. But that was just the beginning. In fact, because what Doge just uncovered about fraud, illegal payouts, and massive government waste is so explosive, it could take down the entire system as we know it. And wait until you see the charts. Wait until you see the charts Elon Musk just dropped. We're going to show them to you later in this video. It's the kind of proof that really has both political parties scrambling, and it's turning heads at every major media news outlet from CNN to Fox News. Plus, there are now rumors of a possible Doge dividend refund check specifically for Social Security recipients. Now, we're going to break all of this down to you guys and exactly what you need to know before it's too late. So don't blink. We got the full unedited video clip, the leaked data, and what Elon Musk said on record, and why he says this is going to make Social Security solvent again. Or his name isn't Elon Musk. I think his name is Elon Musk, so he'll probably prove why, right? Anyway, stay with me, guys, because the moment at the end of the video might just be the biggest twist yet. So let's go ahead and dive right in. If you're able to hear me, just drop a quick yes in the comments down below. Appreciate you guys. What if I told you that Elon Musk went on national television and he promised to put more money into the pockets of Social Security recipients, and that it's all backed by an agency you probably have never heard of before the last couple of months? Well, that just happened. Elon Musk, standing alongside what's now being called the Department of Government Efficiency, or Doge, he looked into the camera and he pretty much just said, hey, let it be shown on record, you will be getting more money. And unless he's proven wrong, that promise stands. Now, before you say, Ron, I'll believe it when I see it, let me walk you through what's really happening behind the scenes, because this is not just another headline. This could change the way Social Security operates forever. By the way, if you're just now joining into the live, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you guys. So Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, is Elon Musk's last mission to expose the waste, the fraud, and the corruption that's buried deep inside of our federal agencies. And right now, they've turned their focus on Social Security itself. Now, we're talking about billions of dollars in mismanagement, fraudulent payouts, illegal recipients, administrative bloat that's been ignored for decades, and Doge is uncovering it all. And get this, guys, what they've already found in the first few weeks is just so shocking. It has both sides of the political aisle freaking out, Democrats and Republicans both, and the media is scrambling, trying to control this narrative.
Democrats seizing on Elon Musk's vow to audit the Social Security Administration to stop extreme fraud, like they're doing in every department across the spectrum. And they're claiming, though, Schumer's claiming, that it's really just an effort to kill the program entirely.
Their goal is clear: destroy Social Security from within, make it so unworkable, so inefficient, that Donald Trump has the pretext to slash benefits, to kill it, and then privatize the program.
All right, let's start there with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Secretary, it's great to have you with us. Thank you very much.
Now, first of all, real quick, guys, what do you guys think about what Chuck Schumer said? Do you believe Chuck, or do you believe Elon Musk? If you believe Chuck Schumer, just type in Schumer. If you believe Elon Musk, type Musk.
Much for joining us today. Is that the goal, to kill Social Security from within, as we just heard from Senator Schumer?
Martha, first of all, thanks for having me. And clearly, no. Senator Schumer seems a little discombobulated these days. He did the right thing on passing the clean CR. last week. He's taken a lot of shrapnel from his party, and extreme statements like this are not helpful for anyone. The American people, when they voted for President Trump, voted for accountability, and whether it's Doge, whether it is our efforts at Treasury and the IRS, we are bringing accountability and efficiency in, and we want to make things better for the American people. We want to ensure that they get everything that they have paid in, and their benefits are there when they need them, as they need them. So, Senator Schumer is way off base here.
So, I mean, there's a difference, obviously, between eliminating waste and fraud, which you've spoken about a lot, and President Trump has spoken about a lot. And, still being able to give people all of the benefits that they paid into. But one of the ideas that has come up, and President Bush brought it up a long time ago, W. Bush, that maybe the Social Security, the money in Social Security should have some of it invested in the market. That idea got lambasted. People said he was, trying to risk their money in the risky stock market. But is that an idea that resonates with you? And do you think it would help us remain solvent in Social Security?
Now, before he responds to that, drop a quick comment down below. Do you think the funds that are in Social Security should be invested in the stock market? Like, for example, the S&P 500, not like some penny stocks or anything like that. Not a super risky small cap stock that's only worth like $100 million. I'm talking about big blue chip stocks, maybe some Google, some Microsoft stock, some Amazon, some Facebook stock, some Nvidia stock, Tesla stock. Just drop a quick comment, yes or no. Do you support investing Social Security funds, yes or no?
Security.
Well, Martha, everything's easy in hindsight. And, I saw an analysis the other day that in 1968, if we'd put half the Social Security trust fund into equities, we'd have a 15 trillion surplus.
Wow.
But we didn't. We are where we are. We are not contemplating that. What we are contemplating is bringing the systems and the safeguards into the 2025, giving the American people accountability and ensuring the durability of the system, and to make sure that people's checks arrive on time. President Trump yesterday signed an executive order at Treasury mandating that we examine our payment system and try to get more people onto the electronic payment platform, because you may not know it, but there is a huge amount of theft of seniors' Social Security checks. So
Elon Musk had mentioned something like 40% of the phone calls that the Social Security or SSA office fields on a daily basis are scammers calling in. Isn't that just crazy how many people are just stealing from Social Security?
If they are able to get into an electronic payment system, then they are much more secure. They come earlier and they are guaranteed.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So comment down below. Are you in support of getting Social Security checks earlier? Like, that sounds like a pretty positive thing. It sounds like, at least.
I saw that, and I know you want to, move it over to a digital system that would be safer and that would guarantee that people's payments go through. It's probably going to be a big transition, and how long do you think that will take?
Well, for us, I don't think it's going to take that long. One of the things that I've been at my desk for 8 weeks, and one of the things that we've done is we make 1.5 billion payments a year, and we want to make sure that all of those are authorized. And one of the ways to do that, I came in and found out that a third of the payments that we send out did not have proper identifiers on them to tie them back to an appropriation to a department. So we're just starting with the basics. And I'm very big on crawl, walk, run. And so stop crawling. We're going to get up, walk, have everything properly identified, and then we're going to fix these antiquated IT systems and make sure that they are safe and sound, and that people get their checks in a more robust basis.
I think it's about time.
Wow. Well, guys, this isn't some pipe dream. Elon Musk is saying that once Doge completes its auditing and cleans up basically legitimate Social Security recipients, retirees, SSI, SSDI will start seeing larger checks, not just cost of living increases or COLA increases, but actual increases driven by rooting out the corruption that's draining the system. Can I get an amen for that, right? I mean, like, here's a twist, guys. We're now hearing chatter that Doge may even push for something called a Doge dividend refund check, specifically for Social Security recipients. Now, this alone here could send shockwaves across the United States, across the entire country, all 50 states. And I'm going to explain exactly what that is and what it means for you guys in just a second. But do you support this kind of aggressive reform to Social Security and accountability inside government programs like Social Security? I mean, if you do, drop a quick 47 in the comments down below. If you guys are glad to see Elon Musk and Doge stepping up to clean this mess. But yeah, so what Doge found out about illegal immigrants receiving benefits, yes, it's real, guys. And I've actually got the numbers to share with you guys. Timeline for you guys for when you could see some bigger checks, and how Ground News is actually exposing the media bias around this entire story. Shout out to Ground News on that one. So if you've ever felt like the system was, I don't know, broken, if you've ever wondered where your tax dollars are really going, this is the video you cannot afford to skip. All right, so let's dive a little bit deeper into the numbers, and I want to show you guys exactly what Doge has uncovered here. All right, so now this next part is where things get really, really interesting, and honestly, kind of shocking too, because if you or someone you know is currently on Social Security, whether it's retirement or SSI, SSDI, what I'm about to share might be the best news you've heard in years. So Elon Musk, he made a bold promise on live television, and it wasn't vague or super wrapped in red tape. He said clearly Social Security recipients will be getting more money. And he made that statement on record. Not just retirees. We're talking about SSI, SSDI, and anybody who's receiving fixed income payments from the Social Security Administration. And the reason? According to Elon Musk, the work being done right now by Doge, that's the Department of Government Efficiency, is uncovering so much fraud, so much waste and abuse that when it's cleaned up, there's going to be room to send you more money. Wow. There must be a lot of fraud and waste and abuse going on there, right? But here's a twist, guys. And I want you to really listen to this. There are already talks about something called a Doge dividend refund check. Did you guys hear anything about that? Yes, a refund check, guys, like specifically for Social Security recipients. Now, I know it sounds wild. I know it sounds crazy, but we're going to get into exactly what that could mean and who might actually qualify for it in a minute. So don't click away because in this next part, it's the reason why this whole situation is exploding across the media. Now, Doge, Elon Musk's team, has allegedly uncovered something that's mind-blowing, that illegal immigrants may be receiving Social Security benefits one way or another. Does that come as a surprise to you? Now, before anybody jumps to conclusions, we're going to look at what Doge claims that they found, the documents, the charts, and what Elon Musk himself actually is saying about this publicly. Now, if it's true, this could explain where billions of dollars have been bleeding from the system, and it's fueling the push for immediate reform and bigger payments for actual legal U.S. citizens who earn their benefits. So, yeah. And trust me, guys, the media they don't want this information to get out. The media doesn't know how to handle this. Some news outlets are burying the story. They're just keeping it under wraps. Other news stations and media news outlets are twisting it into something that it's not. but we've actually got the raw footage and the data to show you straight from the source.
They're talking about when they're talking about Doge aspects of this, because this is another fear monger tactic to say all of a sudden they're going after Medicaid and you're not going to get service. You're not going to get health care if you're a low income individual in this country. That's not what they're talking about. One of the things they're talking about is double payments. So there's a phenomenon that happens, they've realized it in the system, where people, the federal government and the states pay private insurers to offer Medicare and Medicaid to people living in that state. And what will happen occasionally is somebody will move and they will be registered in both states, but the right hand isn't talking to the left hand. And so all of a sudden you'll get a procedure and they'll be paying to insurance companies in both states. This is costing the country to the tune of, $4.3 billion over the course of the last 3 years. That was double payments. So you're talking about something that's been paid for twice. There is nobody in this country, no Democrat, that can tell me that that is a useful spend of taxpayer dollars.
Now, I'm going to break down exactly who this Doge dividend refund check, who might get it, how it might work, and when you could actually see more money. And even some members of Congress are now quietly starting to get behind Elon Musk's mission here, starting to back Elon Musk, even though they won't say it out loud yet. And if you're thinking this sounds too good to be true, well, you just wait and see. When you see actual numbers that Doge just released, and I'll show you in a second. And then you can make the call for yourself. Now, hang on a second here.
We started at the top of the system, mapping the whole system of Social Security to understand where all the fraud was. And there's a lot of great people there that showed us really a lot of waste. And so that came up with a big list of stuff that we're working on. You've heard some of that already, but this is what jumped out at us. When we saw these numbers, we were like, what is this? In 21, you see 270,000 people. Goes all the way to 2.1 million in 24. These are non-citizens that are getting Social Security numbers.
Yeah, this is a mind-blowing chart.
Yeah, this literally blew us away. Like, we went there to find fraud, and we found this by accident. And this isn't political, by the way. My parents are immigrants. This country's been great to us. My brother and sister are all born in Spain. I'm pro-legal immigration. This is not political. This is not political. This is about America and the future of America.
Guys, that is crazy, right? Isn't that crazy? Like, we saw the chart. Now, this story has officially gone viral, not just because of what Elon Musk is saying, but because of how the public is reacting to this. And guys, trust me, the reaction is loud and it's split. So let's make this personal, okay? I want to know where you guys stand. If you support what Elon Musk and Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, are doing, if you believe that it's time for someone to finally dig into the corruption, to clean up the waste, to get Social Security recipients more money, drop a quick 47 in the comments down below, guys. But if, of course, if you don't support this, then type in Biden in the comments down below. If you rather not uncover the waste and not give Social Security recipients more money. But this isn't just a poll, guys. This is a pulse check on where real Americans stand on one of probably the most controversial shakeups that we've seen in decades. And, I'm going to be reading through, some of the comments in a second here. But what's really fascinating is it's not just people being divided here, but the media. They're losing it over this story. And some people, I don't know if you guys believe George Soros is backing the media and making them skew information a certain way or not, but that's what we're hearing. Now, depending upon where you get your news from, the story looks different. Some headlines are praising Elon Musk and Doge for finally doing what politicians never had the balls to do, but other news outlets are trashing them, calling it dangerous and it's overreaching. Now, that's why I always like to check around to see what different news outlets are saying. Now, according to Ground News, for example, the topic of Elon Musk and Social Security reform, you got 62 articles leaning left, you got 25 articles leaning right, and only a handful of articles actually try to stay in the middle. But some are even trying to claim that Elon Musk is cutting the benefits, which is the exact opposite of what he said on camera and what it looks like he's doing. And I'm like, where are the Democrats getting this information from that Elon Musk is trying to cut benefits? Because I hear what the Democrats are saying, but I don't see the proof. So I'm just wondering, why don't they share the proof to kind of like validate their argument? You know, like let's just say Democrats are right that Elon Musk is cutting Social Security, right? Share some of the proof with us so that we can see it. But if there's no proof to be shown, then it makes you wonder who's telling the truth, right? Does that make sense, guys? So anyway, but coming up next, guys, we're going to break down the most recent Doge report, the actual numbers, what they reveal about who's been draining the system, and how the government might actually be able to afford those bigger checks after all. And if the rumors are true, there might be an even bigger shakeup that's coming maybe next month that nobody's even ready for. So now, before we wrap this up, let's talk a little bit about what's really happening behind the headlines and why this might go down as one of the most controversial and transformative moments in U.S. government reform history, guys. Now, again, depending upon what news outlet you follow, Elon Musk is either being demonized as like a reckless billionaire playing with policy, looking at your data, looking at your social security number. He's got our addresses. Oh my God, right? Or he's being hailed as a reformer, doing what politicians have been too scared to even touch. Some news outlets and networks are calling this initiative a dangerous overstep, while others are saying that it's the most transparent audit of Social Security in modern history. So I think the media is pretty split. But that's exactly why I'm bringing this straight to you guys so that you can decide. I don't want to tell you what to think. I think the media does enough of that. So, just in the last 24 hours, Doge dropped brand new charts, reports showing where the waste, the fraud, and the illegal payouts are happening. And these aren't conspiracy theories. This is documented, and it's going to rattle a lot of cages in Washington, D.C. And so I think this is why they're so scared, because they don't want their lies to be ultimately exposed. Here's where it gets really interesting. A surprise player enters the scene. Elon Musk. Yes, that Elon Musk, right? And what he and his team discovered inside Social Security is going to blow your mind. And we're talking about billions of dollars in fraud, guys, fake beneficiaries, and some numbers that will actually make your jaw drop. So stick with me, guys, because in just a few moments, I'm going to break down exactly what Elon Musk's Doge team found and why it could mean bigger Social Security checks starting as soon as April. But first, we need to talk about the scale of this crisis and why the future of Social Security is hanging by a thread. And believe me, guys, when you see how many people are gaming the system and how many dead people are still collecting these checks, you'll understand just how urgent this really is. If you guys are able to see and hear me, drop a quick yes in the comments. Let me know where you guys are watching from. I really appreciate you guys. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Here's where things take a wild turn. Elon Musk, you heard that right, guys. The billionaire behind Tesla, SpaceX, and PayPal has now set his sights on something even bigger. Watch.
Hood, and what did they find? A stunning level of fraud inside the country's most controversial systems. Musk says that Doge is cutting $4 billion in waste every single day to try to keep the program solvent.
So Elon Musk's team, nicknamed the Doge team, was brought in to do what Washington couldn't do, or maybe I should say wouldn't do. Their mission, save Social Security from going under. Not by raising taxes, not by slashing benefits, but by eliminating corruption and modernizing the system from the ground up. And according to their initial reports, they're already cutting through nearly $4 billion in waste and fraud every single day. Now, let that sink in for a second, okay? $4 billion a day gone. And that's just the beginning, guys. They've promised to make Social Security solvent, relevant, and more generous to those who actually deserve it. But how are they going to pull this off? And so this is where it gets really interesting. Elon Musk says that he wants to completely reimagine how we interact with government services. His vision? Walking into a federal office, it should feel more like stepping into an Apple store. Smooth, easy, and intuitive.
The way we interact with the federal government entirely, they want to make our interactions with the federal government more like going into an Apple store with a great user experience. So Taylor, I don't know which of their goals is harder, cutting $1 trillion in government spending or creating a great user experience for the American people with the federal government.
And let me tell you, if Elon Musk could pull this off, you won't just change how we get benefits, right? This won't just change how we get benefits, guys. This could fundamentally transform the entire United States government. And here's the real kicker. The Doge team isn't stopping at Social Security. In fact, they have actually set their sights on cutting $1 trillion in government waste across the board. That's right, guys. $1 trillion from Medicare, from Medicaid, even education and housing. Nothing is off the table.
Or creating a great user experience for the American people with the federal government. We'll see if they can do both.
When federal government's involved, it's all hard.
Man, but this is about fixing big government. Or is this really just one step toward replacing government altogether entirely? But up next, guys, we're going to dive into the jaw-dropping fraud that they've uncovered, including how millions of checks are being sent to people who aren't even alive. And if you think that sounds crazy, guys, wait until you hear what percentage of SSA phone calls are actually coming from scammers. So this next part is going to blow your mind. It might even raise your blood pressure, but let's go ahead and get into it. Now, if you guys are wondering why Social Security is in such bad shape, well, the answer is shocking as it's probably equally shocking as it is infuriating, really. I mean, fraud, massive systemic billion-dollar fraud. I mean, it's just crazy when you think about it. Now, according to Elon Musk's Doge team, guys, this isn't just like a few bad actors. It's not just a few bad actors that are gaming the system here and there. We're talking about widespread, systemic, organized, nonstop exploitation, and it's happening right now.
Doge team, they have only been on the job for a couple of months, but they say they have already found widespread Social Security fraud. Here's one example Musk gave.
They call in, they say they claim to be a retiree, then they convince the Social Security person on the phone to change where the money's flowing. It actually goes to some fraudster. This is happening all day, every day. And then somebody doesn't receive their Social Security. It's because of all the fraud loopholes in the Social Security system. Unbelievable, right?
Now, here's just one example. And this is going to make your blood boil. Scammers are calling the Social Security system. The scammers are calling the Social Security Administration, pretending to be retirees. Then they're convincing the workers on the other end of the phone call, whoever they're talking to from the Social Security Administration, hey, they're convincing them to change their direct deposit information so that the money flows straight into the criminals' bank accounts. And then the person who's supposed to get the Social Security check, they don't even get it. And get this, guys, the Doge team estimates that like 40% of all calls, 40%, that's almost half, guys. The Doge team estimates that 40% of all phone calls that are going into the SSA are from fraudsters doing exactly this.
So here are the numbers, and they are shocking. The Doge team says 40% of all calls to the Social Security Administration come from fraudsters doing exactly what Musk just described, trying to alter someone else's direct deposit information so the money flows into the fraudster's account.
40%, guys. This is nearly half of all communication into the system being hijacked by criminals, and it gets worse. You want to talk about waste? How about this? There's over like 15 million people listed as age 120 or older who are still marked as alive in the Social Security database. I can't even make this stuff up, folks.
They also say that more than 15 million people aged 120 or older are marked as alive in the Social Security system. So now,
let that sink in, guys. There aren't 15 million people alive on Earth who are over 120 years old. Come on. Like, I think this is pretty much common sense, and yet the Social Security system is just being allowed to get scammed left and right. But apparently in the federal database, they're alive, they're well, and they're still receiving benefits. And meanwhile, real Americans struggle to make ends meet These ghost accounts, they're draining the system every single month. But here's the good news, and it's big. Elon Musk says fixing this fraud won't just save Social Security, but it could actually increase payments for millions of real recipients. And so coming up next, we're going to look at exactly who might be getting a big bump in their check starting this April, and why Elon Musk says that the next step will rattle not just Social Security, but Medicare, Medicaid, and even the Department of Education. So stick with me, guys, because it's about to get even crazier, believe it or not. But let's now talk about the real reason so many Americans are confused. They're angry. They're terrified about Social Security. It's not just the fraud, guys. It's not just the waste. It's the messaging. For years, we've heard the same tired line. Republicans want to take your Social Security away. Have you heard that? Have you heard Donald Trump is coming for your benefits? Or maybe you've heard Elon Musk is here to privatize the system and leave seniors behind. That fear, guys, it's been weaponized over and over again.
Literally everyone. One thing that I, hear often when we're talking about DOGE, especially from the Democrats or from the left side of the party, is that, Donald Trump is coming for your Social Security, that they're going to take it away, that, no one's going to get their money anymore. And this is money that you've paid into the census system and that you're entitled to. It's a lot of fear mongering, that it's not factual and it's not accurate. And I'm so glad that we've heard from the DOGE team and directly from Elon Musk about really what they are doing. It kind of goes.
Seriously, but let me be clear, guys, and I want you to hear this directly from the people involved. The DOGE team and Elon Musk himself have no intention of cutting Social Security. So that's the good news. In fact, their goal is the opposite. Preserve it, modernize it, and increase payouts for real recipients by finally cutting the fraud and the bloat, guys. And this isn't just like a segment shared by something deeply personal. I mean, like this is not a political debate that's happening in Washington, right? This is happening in our families. Now, one guest in the segment actually shared something that was pretty personal. Even her own well-informed, highly educated family member was convinced that Social Security was about to be eliminated.
Back to my concerns about the PR and the messaging around all of this. And this really hit home for me personally when just this week I had a conversation with a close family member, a family member of mine who I consider to be very informed and very educated, who was very convinced also that Social Security is going to be eliminated.
Wow. This is how far the fear mongering has gone. Even smart, thoughtful Americans are being misled. But here's the truth, guys. The reforms that are being rolled out right now are designed to protect the system for decades to come. And if DOGE succeeds, millions of Americans could not only see increases this April, but a stronger safety net for generations after that. And what comes next? Well, it could shake the entire government because Elon Musk's team isn't just looking at Social Security. In fact, up next, we're going to uncover how billions more are being wasted in Medicare and Medicaid, and why insurance companies are actually getting paid twice for the same patient, with low-income Americans getting left behind. So stick with me, guys, because in this next part, if it doesn't make your jaw drop, I don't think anything will. So let's zoom out for a second, okay? What Elon Musk and the DOGE team are trying to do here, right? What they're trying to do here, it's not just bold, it's nearly impossible. Even Stephen Hilton, who tried something similar in the UK government back in 2010, he says the mission Elon Musk has taken on is like trying to climb Mount Everest in a hurricane.
DOGE, I mean, look, what they're attempting is incredibly difficult. We tried something like this. I led the effort back 2010 in the UK government. We didn't have all the technological tools. And it's just very, very hard because you've got all these systems that have built up over the years.
Wow. The truth is, guys, government systems, especially in the United States, are bloated, they're outdated, they're buried in bureaucracy. I mean, imagine trying to upgrade a 50-year-old computer that no one knows how to fix while it's still turned on and still controlling people's lives. But Elon Musk's team is coming in with fresh eyes, modern tools, and no patience for excuses, which brings us to one of the most shocking discoveries yet. See, while the media keeps your focus on other issues, the DOGE team uncovered another multi-billion-dollar leak in our healthcare system, guys. It's called double payment. So here's how it works. When somebody moves from one state to another, sometimes the government just keeps paying insurance companies in both states for that same person. because the systems, for whatever reason, they're not connected.
System where the federal government and the states pay private insurers to offer Medicare and Medicaid to people living in that state. And what will happen occasionally is somebody will move and they will be registered in both states, but the right hand isn't talking to the left hand. And so all of a sudden you'll get a procedure and they'll be paying to insurance companies in both states.
Wow. And this has cost you and me, the taxpayer, more than $4.3 billion just over the last 3 years. That's billions, guys, going to private insurance companies. And they're just getting away with this free money for the same patients twice. And so here's what's wild. Like, the very people who claim to fight for, they're fighting against corporate greed, they're standing by. Meanwhile, the same insurance companies they demonize are raking in the money. They're raking in double the money for doing nothing extra. How dirty is that?
That an insurance company would be paid twice. Insurance company is the evil of all evil. It is just remarkable to me. So I'm glad Doge is doing this, but
And wow, this is not a one-off situation either. Doge is digging into every layer of Medicaid and Medicare. And what they're finding could close. It could actually expose one of the biggest government private scams in American history, guys. Now, coming up, why tens of thousands of migrants and ineligible recipients may be enrolled in these programs too, and what this means for people who actually do need the care. Plus, how is all of this going to actually tie into a government movement to shut down entire federal departments and return power to the states? I know it's controversial, it's constitutional, and it's closer than you think if you consider it, right? But keep watching, guys, because the next segment that I'm about to share with you might just change how you see the entire U.S. government. So what if the problem isn't just fraud or waste? What if the problem is the federal government, or that the federal government has just gotten just too big to function? Because right now, the conversation has shifted to something much bigger than Social Security. We're talking about the future of federal power itself. Now, some experts and even former government officials are saying that it's time to shut down entire federal agencies. Yes, abolish the Department of Education, eliminate HUD, or Housing and Urban Development, send power back to the states where it belongs.
It applies not just to the education department. Why should that be run centrally from the federal bureaucracy in Washington? It applies to so many others. Look at housing and urban development.
Yes.
Right. You talk about California. The biggest funder of these totally failing homeless programs in California is HUD. Why? Why is there any argument for things like housing and urban development to be done from Washington? I think there's a whole range of these departments, not just education, that should be completely shut down and then done at the state level.
And they're pointing straight to the 10th Amendment, the part of the Constitution that says if a power isn't explicitly given to the federal government, it belongs to the states or the people. It's a bold idea, but let's face it, guys, for decades, Washington, D.C. has gotten bigger, slower, and more bloated. Meanwhile, real people struggle to get even basic services. And so that's where the Doge team's tech-driven approach comes in. While bureaucrats are busy arguing about regulations that affect, get this, guys, men's pajamas. Unbelievable. Elon Musk's team is building streamlined systems. They're integrating data, and they're letting HR and IT firms from the private sector do what the government never could.
Migrate to that. We actually were successful in doing that with a lot of online services in the UK and built something fresh. But this legacy stuff, it's very difficult. I remember endless meetings with bureaucrats where you just realize you're never going to win if you try and get into the discussion. I remember some conversation literally took 40 minutes about regulations affecting men's pajamas.
And here's a twist, guys. Some people are nervous, not because the tech won't work, but because they're afraid that it will work. So just imagine a federal government that's suddenly efficient, fast, slick. Sounds great, right? But what if that same slick machine becomes unstoppable? What if it turns into a centralized system of control?
Me most excited. And so I get a little bit nervous about the part of Doge creeping in that's saying, let's make it slick and better. Because what if the government does kind of get slick at doing things?
Yes.
And then accumulates more activities unto itself.
really
Like,
agree.
that's tyranny
Yeah.
can be slick, Steve Hilton.
That's the fear, guys. Slick tyranny hiding behind user-friendly services. So here's the question. Do we fix federal systems or get rid of them altogether and go back to state-level control? So this brings us to the growing debate over state-run healthcare, education, and welfare. I mean, like some people say, hey, let each state run its own programs, its own budgets, and, its own solutions. Others argue, what about states with less money? Won't that lead to inequality? And it's a fair concern. By the way, if you're just now joining the live, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you guys joining in here. But experts say there is a solution, one that gives states back their power without abandoning those in need. It's called state-level transfers. This is a method of balancing funds between states without bloated federal bureaucracy in the middle.
Therefore, it's not going to be fair. You can achieve that through state-level transfers,
Right.
If you want to kind of balance it out.
And coming up, guys, we're even going to talk about why both Democrats and Republicans secretly love centralized power, even when they say that they don't, right? So we're also going to be looking at what could happen if one administration sets up a slick tech system and the next one actually weaponizes it. Don't go anywhere, guys, because this is kind of scary here. But the next segment could expose the biggest lie that both parties are telling us, okay? So let's talk about something that crosses party lines and exposes the truth. Political hypocrisy. Both Republicans and Democrats love to talk about decentralizing power, right? We've all heard this. They campaign on giving back power to the states, shrinking the federal government, and protecting individual freedoms. But let's be honest, guys. Once they get to Washington, they fall in love with the power, both sides.
Exactly, and that's just as bad. Republicans and Democrats in Congress. Once they get to, they talk about the 10th. They talk about decentralizing power. Once they get to Washington, they love the power.
Right.
Exactly.
So why? Because power is addictive, and nobody wants to give it up. Not even the people who promised that they would give it up. This is why Americans don't trust politicians anymore. It's why movements like Doge are gaining a lot of momentum, because people are tired of being lied to. And while the political circus continues to rage on, something else is happening that most Americans are not even watching. The markets are tanking. Right now, we're seeing major losses across the board.
Just want to get a quick look. The markets are deteriorating. I have it down 2% on the S&P, over 2.3% on the NASDAQ. The Russell 2000's down more than 2% on the day. Those are small cap domestic focused companies. So everything mostly down now. NASDAQ 2.5%, 2.7%. So at the lows of the session.
Small businesses, guys, tech, domestic companies, everybody's feeling the pressure. And this isn't just like random market noise. This ties directly to a brewing global fight that could impact your wallet. Now, we're talking about the escalating EU-US tariff war, guys. The European Union is butting heads with the United States over trade, and it's getting ugly. So here's a kicker. Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are right in the middle of it.
But they're saying that, look, PayPal's one way that we can continue to go after you.
Well, we talked about the EU using American companies as piggy banks the other day, I think, with the suit against Meta. And obviously now they've got an axe to grind against Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk associated.
Yep, that's right, guys. They're trying to reform government systems and innovate here at home. Foreign players, they're using U.S. tech giants as bargaining chips. And if tariffs increase, you could be the one that's paying higher prices on everything from tech to transportation. But what does all of this mean for Social Security? What does this mean for Medicare and for the average American who's just trying to make ends meet? Well, stick around, guys, because in the final segment, we're going to be putting all of this together. We're going to break down how fraud, the fear, the federal government overreach, they're all connected to the global markets, particularly the political deception, and of course, your future benefits. So trust me, guys, you're not going to want to allow the government to continue to get over on us as they have been. If you guys appreciate this insightful breakdown, this analytical breakdown that I just shared with you guys, do me a favor, hit the like button for the video. Definitely subscribe to the channel. I'm going to do a follow-up to this video, and it's going to blow your mind. If you're interested in that follow-up video, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on that, hit that bell icon. Turn on notifications so you're aware when I release a new video. Appreciate the support, you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.